Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Market Pulse. I'm Ajit Mahuli, the founder and mentor at Learn Price Action Trading. Let's dive into what the indices have been doing and are likely to do in the coming week. Let's take a look at the Nifty monthly chart. So if you remember last week's Market Pulse, that was the weekly demand zone where price we expected to come and then probably give a bounce, and that's what has happened. So on the monthly chart, there is no demand zone, still probably lower further up to this point or inside these areas. But as of now, we are in a demand zone, so we'll have to trade carefully and avoid low on the curve shorts. So the trend is still up this month. How it is going to close this week will decide the future course early next month. So the last month's complete price gain has been erased this month. On the weekly chart, if you see, we have a sort of a drop-based drop, but not a very clear drop-based drop because this is pretty huge candle. So you will see some supply zones coming in on smaller time frames. So that's the weekly demand zone where price came in on Friday. Today it bounced, hit some areas of supply. We'll take a look at the smaller time frames. And the minimum if this level breaks, we could see prices going all the way to these areas of demand zone. But maybe it will take some time because next month again it will be result season, so price could remain pretty range bound. Not so sure about the areas of demand here on the weekly. At least I'm not confident, but maybe on daily we could have some fresh demand areas which could push the prices up. So weekly, again, the supply comes only at those areas, or probably somewhere here at 18,300 based on the daily chart. But again, we have come back to this area of demand zone. One demand zone has been breached on the weekly chart. Coming back to the daily, that's what we see on the daily chart. The main supply rally based drop from where everything started. That's another supply here. And a smaller time frame supply which have been marked, and as discussed last week, prices went there and came down. Now, if you see on the daily chart, if this gap is taken out, we could easily move at least up to 18,300 as per the weekly chart, or maybe even 18,400 odd levels. That's the area of demand zone which actually was responsible for pushing Nifty up. So be careful about swing shorts. Swing shorts will be here. Maybe short-term shorts are okay. If we break this demand zone, so now if you take a look at the daily chart here, that's an interesting area of demand zone, which we could see maybe if markets permit, we could go down all the way here this week and then start moving up, or we move up and then come down here. Once this is broken, no great areas of demand zone on the daily chart, at least until 16,700 and 16,300, but that's far-fetched as of now. So that's the range that we'll be playing for Nifty this week. 18,000, approximately 18,500 to 17,700 would be the range that we will play. Coming back to the smaller time frames. So that's the best area of supply. There are multiple small supply zones there. Now, prices could halt here before moving up. So you'll have to be cautious about when you enter into the supply zones, not before these, or once you get confirmation by going again below, then you can get into some quick shorts. So the bias is short-term income longs and short-term income shorts, swing shorts at these areas, maybe swing longs on confirmation at these areas of demand zone. A quick look at India VIX tells us that volatility, India VIX is rising, volatility is rising. So on the monthly chart, we are moving up from the low areas. We have enough room to move till 22. Similarly, on the weekly chart, if you take a look at this, that's all no demand area. So if this starts moving up, the next area that we could see it moving will be somewhere here. That will be the supply zone, weekly supply zone, where it might target. Prices have not been going below 13, and now they have started moving up. So be cautious about aggressive longs as well as swing longs. Longs will be only on confirmation. So if you take a look on the daily chart, we have been holding these areas of demand zone compressing move. The minimum move is here, which you could see it happening this week itself. That's a daily supply zone. And if markets fall further, then we could even test about 20. But wicks and confirmations on the daily and weekly have given us that probably a top is formed here, and we should trade carefully on the long side, and probably markets could still remain in a range bound activity from 18,500 to 17,500 till the result starts pouring in. Let's take a look at what Bank Nifty has been doing in the last week and is likely to do in the coming week. Let's go to the charts. So going to Bank Nifty now. Now, if you take a look at this, last week we said that Bank Nifty is probably right for a fall, and that's what happened. The Bank Nifty fell. Again, on the monthly chart, the demand zone is still here on smaller time frames. Let me just remove everything here. On the monthly chart, the demand zone is still here on smaller time frames. We could have some demand zones here. We have rallied quite a bit. The trend is strong and up, but a pullback can be expected for some more duration. Based on the weekly chart, all-time high, from all-time high, we easily took off all these price actions. So if you take a look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks price action gone in just 1 week. But again, today's price action has been super in Bank Nifty, about more than 1,200 points. At some point it was rising. So it needs to be seen what it does tomorrow. But definitely, we do have some areas of supply zone created on the weekly chart for Bank Nifty, which could halt the movement to the upside and start taking it to the down. Still, the demand zone for Bank Nifty is this. Now, at these areas of demand zone, we were expecting a bounce, and that's the bounce that has happened. So it could still remain range bound for this week. Or if this breaks, then there is a bigger fall that can be expected in Bank Nifty, but probably not this week. Coming back to the daily chart. Now, if you take a look at it, all this is compressive price action, and price easily took off everything. That's a new supply that has been created. We're very short of that supply. So maybe tomorrow we could gap up into this supply and start falling down. No demand zone formed still. The daily demand zone still holds here. That is this from where we broke out that all-time high and moved up. That's the daily demand zone. So price could range between, let's say, 43,500 to 41,500. That's a range that we can play for this coming week, and possibly even first week of Jan if there are no uncertain or bad news coming in. If this breaks, then we are headed towards 38,000 on the daily chart. If you go to the smaller time frame chart, so that's the area where we can look at some supplies coming in, but since this is a very small level, we'll have to trade it with confirmation, or probably see if there is any decoy above. So the stop loss, if you take a short, should still be above 43,600. That's the area from where we fell sharply. We might retest that with this area is where you can get into some shorts for a target one of, let's say, 42,300, and target two will be 42,000. And if I still go down to further smaller time frames, that's where we have intraday trading opportunities. If we gap up into this, we can trade intraday, or the best way is for swing trades, get into the trades at these areas at about 43,500. So a strong pullback, but no achievement on the daily and weekly. So it might just push it to the daily weekly supply zone and start correcting further lower. So trade with caution. This is the last week of the year also. So maybe, I don't know, volumes could be a little low because most of people will be on holidays. So be careful about getting into aggressive positions. And if you can not trade this week, it's also fine. We have the monthly expiry coming up on Thursday. So trade with caution in Bank Nifty. Again, it's going to be range bound. We are coming towards the higher end of the curve. So that's where you can get into some quick shots. All right.